Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dialogue with Dallas. Now, the purpose of this series is to make sure we stay constantly connected. As leaders who are growing each other, helping each other, and serving each other, again, simply staying connected. And a part of staying connected is answering questions that will allow us to learn from each other, questions that will allow us to be honest with each other, and questions that will allow us to grow from each other. What is my angle and where am I hoping to take this? The angle and where am I hoping to take it has been quite simple. From the very beginning, it's for folks to stay connected, to help each other, to grow each other, to serve each other, as regardless of the title we hold, we're all clear leaders. But I recognize the fact that some people might say, I don't want to hear from him. I don't think he should be doing it. The beautiful thing about living in the United States of America, in this great country that we all share together, is that we have options that we can exercise and we have freedoms which have been given to us because others have paved the way. I respect that. But I also know that, as I put in my piece on the pursuit of accountability, is that as leaders, our job is to recognize when mistakes have been done, how we correct those mistakes, and how we learn and move forward from those mistakes. And so one of the things that I'm very clear about is that one of the things that leaders have to do is to stay focused, to drown out the noise. There'll be people from day one who will say what you can't do, what you shouldn't do, and what you should not have done. That's life. That's the criticism that comes with leadership. But one of the things is nobody can keep you down unless you keep yourself down and unless you allow them to keep you down. So the reality for me is I recognize that one of the things that I can't control is what people say, do, or feel about me. And I'm okay with that. Because as a leader, when you recognize that you can't control certain things, you focus on what you can control. And so the angle of this blog is really to make sure that we focus on what we can control, and that's keeping us all connected. Now, some people may not want to be a part of the community. That's fine. Some people may not want to hear from the community. That's fine. But for me, my focus is, as we move forward, to keep us all connected, to share our stories, and to make sure that they're heard so that we can continue growing each other, learning from each other, and serving each other. What's next for me? One of the things my grandmother always told me is you always make moves in silence. Outside of making sure that I do whatever I can to connect other leaders, I have about 8 to 10 different projects that are going on that over the period of the next 6 to 12 months will come out. But you won't see me posting what I'm doing on Facebook. You won't see me posting what I'm doing on Instagram or any other social media platform. And I would encourage you not to do it either. The reality is that you're always going to have naysayers. You're always going to have people who you believe are rooting for you and they're not. That's cool. Because once we recognize that, we can move beyond that. So I'm making a lot of moves in silence that are dealing around leadership as exists in several industries. Education will always be a passion of mine, and so I'm working to make sure that kids always have equitable access to a quality education. That's going to continue to serve a purpose. But I also recognize that in this country, in this time that we have right now, the stakes are so much greater. And they're so much greater outside of just education. But I do believe that two fundamental areas that we all have to focus on for equality to exist is access to quality education and access to quality healthcare. And so as we move forward, there's going to be some things around social justice and social advocacy that will be coming to the forefront. There are going to be some things that people would say, okay, that's untraditional where he would comment, but I'll comment. But one of the things that we're not doing is we're not looking back. One of the great opportunities that I had back in the spring of 2000 at Virginia Union University was to join Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And as I did that, one of the more principles that we learned in that organization, and it was the most important principle, was that regardless, we move onward and we move upward. And that's what I would encourage each of you.